My guest today was widowed very suddenly. During this time, she was pregnant. She gave birth to a preterm baby who weighed only 500 grams. Today, she is here to share her journey as an advocate for children with cerebral palsy. Amazing, amazing story. Join me as she narrates her journey to embrace her son with cerebral palsy and end up being an advocate for children with cerebral palsy. This is A Fresh Start with Jackie. I'll allow my guest to introduce herself today. Kindly just tell us what your name is.
My name is Deborah Kyoko. That is what many people know. But I have acquired other names in the process of growing older. One name is a widow for the last 10 years. And the last name is that I am a parent to a child with cerebral palsy.
So welcome. And we are here today to celebrate actually your fresh start journey as a parent with a child with cerebral palsy. Tell us where your journey began and how it is.
Jackie, my journey is long. I'll try to make it short.
Okay.
It's a journey that started in 2010. When I delivered my baby boy, who I call Joseph Jr.
Okay.
And this name was acquired from the father who passed on 2010. February, I decided to pick that name to stay with it because we had a good relationship for the 15 years that I was married.
Wow.
I didn't want to have any change at that point, though we had other names that we had thought about as
a couple.
As a couple.
Yeah.
And his death was, it was like an accident, a very, I can say it was a short time that he passed on, got sick and he passed on in a short while. So during that time I felt it was a replacement of him by God so that I can stay with him.
So I'm imagining, sorry to cut you short, I'm imagining that at this, by the fact that you sat down as a couple to choose a name for your son, your husband actually died while you were pregnant already with JJ.
Yes, I was pregnant at 6 months.
Okay.
And after he passed on, exactly 1 month after he passed on, I delivered JJ at 7 months.
Wow.
And JJ weighed 590 grams.
Wow.
At the point of delivery. So I delivered before the day of delivery, that is the EDD.
Yeah.
We stayed in hospital for almost 2 months so that the baby can get the right weight so that he can get to go home. But at that point, we were in the hospital. I was undergoing other processes.
Yeah.
I was mourning.
Yeah.
And when I see my boy, I was only seeing my husband.
Oh.
At the hospital, calling my son Joseph was difficult. I kept on saying, baby, baby, because that is the name I used to call my husband. And I felt relieved that there is somebody I can call. I would cry.
Yeah.
It took me almost 3 days before I could accept that I have a baby, because my baby was actually formed when outside the womb. When I gave birth, my baby was full of air everywhere. And I thought, what have I given birth to? I remember bringing my firstborn to come and visit the brother. And my son said, "Mom, ulizaa frog." And those are the words that my son used.
Yeah.
I don't take it like there is anything wrong by saying that, because he was around 13 years.
Okay. He
was still young.
Yeah.
And he was not understanding why the brother has hair everywhere.
Looks different.
The ears were looking upside. The eyes were tiny and like they cannot open well. So I could understand him as much as I was undergoing a lot of pressure within me.
Yeah.
And being in the hospital, my son was taken care of well. And we left the hospital after 2 months.
What was he weighing at that time?
He was weighing 1 kg, 850 grams. But at that point, we were being given instructions. Your room is basically for your child. You have to warm that room. Nobody else goes to that room. It's only you and Jess.
Yeah.
That is what I did.
And this is while you are deep in grief.
Yes, I've gone back home, and the same bed I've been using with my husband is the same bed I'm nursing my baby every day. And many times I used to cry. I would go to washroom, I cry. I go to my wardrobe, I'm looking at myself, and we are crying with my son, because my son, I think he was undergoing a lot of pain or something. He cried. He used to cry all night. JJ used to cry all night. So we will cry together. And I am needed at work. The good thing, the office and my supervisor was awesome person. He understood my predicaments, and he would give me enough time to take care of my child. So I went back to work after 6 months of leave. Going back to work, already I knew my son has issues, because I had done a scan that showed he had some blood spill to his brain.
What prompted you to have the scan?
Okay, when you have a preterm, it is a predisposing factor to cerebral palsy. So the pediatrician who was seeing me said it's important for us to do a scan so that we can just find out whether he has any other problem. So immediately the scan was out, then it was already known my son has cerebral palsy.
So you knew this when JJ was pretty young?
Very young. Actually, when we were at the hospital, when he was undergoing now the process at nursery now. The process of being taken care of so that he can be weaned off the incubator and be given to us to go home. Yes, I knew that time.
So by the time you're going home, with this deep grief that you have, there's also the fact that you know your young little boy is having a problem.
Yes, but to me, it wasn't something that was going to last the longest time that I have stayed with JJ. In my mind, I knew with time, he's going to improve and he will be like any other kid. After going back to work is when now it started sinking in me that this is something I'm going to deal with for longer. You know, when you go back to work and everybody is asking you, hey, Debs, as they call me, Debs, how is JJ? Fine. You stay a little bit. Is he sitting? My son is not able to sit. Wow. Has he started talking? My son, I know he can't talk. Is he feeding himself? My son can't feed himself, leave alone all those things. He has no control of his neck. He cannot sit. Everything is being done for Gigi. So it was a daily reminder that my son is not like any other son. Is different.
Yeah.
So that is the point now I started getting to depression. And funny enough, people who talk a lot like me, many people will not realize when they're in depression.
Yeah.
Because they will talk and they will laugh. But I used to know every day I go home from work, I actually have a badge of things to carry. That is in my mind. I have a son who is differently abled, but nobody will get to understand this unless I talk about it.
So when you say that you used to carry work home, which work were you carrying back home?
The work is that I knew was part of me is on taking care of Gigi. Gigi during the day would have, he would maybe not decide by himself, but he might not go to the toilet for the long call. And that we used to know, if he has not done that, we are not sleeping. And this is a part of the issues that come up with the cerebral palsy children.
Okay.
They might have different other conditions that they have that you have to take care of.
Okay.
So that was part of my work that I knew at night. I have to stay awake.
Okay.
And tomorrow I'm needed to work. And I don't have to tell everybody I didn't sleep.
Yeah. So for you, it was work 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And nobody prepared this for me.
Okay.
I was learning in the process.
Having to work 24 hours, learning on the job, having this experience that is totally different from other mothers and other parents, for you the parenting journey is totally different. What were the challenges that you went through?
Jackie, bringing up a child with disability, it's a challenge in our African culture because not many people understand how to take care of those kids. Yeah. And part of it is what brings depression to the parents.
Okay.
Personally, I went through depression, and very few people knew I was going through depression, if at all they knew.
Yeah.
I would take a lot of alcohol, but people would think I just want to have fun. That was to make me like forget about what is happening.
To numb.
Because I was feeling if the father was there, we would be helping each other.
Yeah.
But now I'm alone and people are they're just very far from me to understand what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So depression was part of me. And when I realized I have depression, is through the work that I do every day. I work, during that time, I was working in a health facility and in a clinic, and most of the work I would do a lot of counseling. And there came one of a couple I was counseling, and they were very happy about my services. Then, as they moved out, I asked myself, if I can help someone else, why can't I help myself?
Oh, that was your wake-up call.
That was my wake-up call. Just what I do every day, and how come I'm not doing it for myself. So that time I just went to Facebook. I was not a member in Facebook. I used to look at it like it's for young people to venture there and talk. But that day I went down to Facebook and looked for groups that are for people or parents with children with disability.
Wow.
And I found one by the name Stepping on a Stone. And I joined the group. It was closed. And And the discussion that was going on that day was about going to see a counselor. These parents were going to see. And I fixed myself. So I also said I'm going where these mothers and parents are going, so that I can also get that closure of depression and how I can take care of my child. It didn't take long. I think it was around 2 weeks. And
of counseling?
No. 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we were already forming that group to go and see a counselor as a group.
So you joined it at the nick of time, the perfect time.
The perfect point.
Oh.
So we started seeing a counselor, a very common person that most Kenyans know, but maybe they never knew he was a really good counselor. And maybe if I'm allowed, and wherever he is, if he's watching, I really appreciate your work, Michael Yer. We went for counseling sessions as a group, and that time we are all talking about our experiences. I actually found I have no bad experience.
And you realize that there's a group of mothers and fathers out here who are actually experiencing what you are.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was a deep thing within me that sometimes we close ourselves without knowing that there is help actually when you come out. So Michael took us through group sessions, but it didn't go very much, on which I came to learn later that he was also going through depression at the point we were doing the therapy.
Okay.
So it was cut short without even notice.
But you got some benefit
because there was a lot of benefits on it. Because I was able to accept my son the way he is and talk about my son freely, walk with my son without feeling like people are looking at me like I'm a failure, and accepting that even if people talk about witchcraft is not part of my son's disability, which is a common thing. So we disbanded the group that we were going for counseling, but I also felt I had the capacity now to walk along with other parents. And I formed another group with other parents called Embrace Cerebral Palsy, which we take through parents who have children with cerebral palsy, so that they can accept their children the way they are, and then they can provide for them the services that are needed so that the child can grow up like any other regular child that we have. You find most of the times people, when they have children with disability, they neglect them. Not because they hate them. I want to bring this out.
Why
not because they hate them. Like you will hear somebody saying, or a neighbor, there is a child here who is always locked in. Why does the mother do that or the father? It's because they love that child. They want to go wherever they want to go and come back and find that child. Safe wherever they close them in. It's not because of they hate them.
What I'm hearing you say, the society, most of us on the outside, we don't understand what's going on with the parents who have children that have challenges.
Exactly.
And because we don't understand, our reactions might actually be cruel, or might be cruel.
Exactly.
What is the advice that you have for the society today?
One, the advice that I can give is to provide supportive system for those parents. They are already going through a lot. When you see them close out that baby, reach out to them, talk to them. Maybe it's just about they have no one to leave that child with, because that child needs a lot of care. It's dependent. And the only thing they can do is to leave that child closed, and maybe their financial status doesn't allow them to have a person to take care of that child.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have facilities that we can take our children when they have disability, that we are able to say, I'm very sure if I take my child at this place,
Yeah.
and I pay this fee, my child will be fully taken care of without discrimination, and I'll feel comfortable. Even if I'm working somewhere far, if I come back, I'll find my baby being given the services that are needed. Those facilities are not there. The society has tagged the parents with children with disability as their own fault as a parent. It's your fault that you are given birth to such a child. No, disability can come anytime, even when we are grown up.
Yes.
And so we should embrace the children and the families with cerebral palsy, and also families that we can see they have disability in them, because it's only us as society who can change.
Yeah. And the other thing that I also would say, your breakthrough came from acceptance and embracing.
Yes.
Once those two came to play, it was easy for you to not consider what the society says anyway, but love your child so much that today in Facebook, all your friends and many more know JJ more than they know you. And even we do not know that you have another son. We always just think it's JJ because you have posted JJ everywhere, and even what's going on with JJ, you always post it and share. How do other parents also embrace and accept? Because at the end of the day, you might not be able to change the entire society, but the change to accept your child and embrace your child and embrace your story and your situation will go a long way. How do other parents with children who have challenges do that?
Thank you, Jackie. One thing I did was to form a group for parents with children with cerebral palsy. And within that group, we discuss the challenges we are going through. And it is a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
We discuss what our children are going through, referring for services. Like a parent might be very far and say, I don't have a physiotherapist where I am. We reach out and see whether there is one within that region that can support. Because when children get to grow older, it becomes difficult to take them to the hospital.
Yeah.
And physiotherapy is also expensive to do it at home. So that has helped us reach out to more parents and also talk to them not to give up, that these children are like any other child. They can achieve their education. They may fail to talk like any other, but their IQ is even more than average.
Yeah.
It's only that they may not return the words, but they get to understand everything.
Okay.
If I can say today, if JJ was here and tell him to do something, you will see him try to do it because he understands it, but he cannot bring it out.
Okay.
And his IQ
is high.
Is high.
Yeah.
If I dress, he knows I want to go, and he will ask, Mom, and I'll understand.
Yeah.
Communication is not about verbal.
No.
It's about also understanding where you meet in terms of communication. Where he responds and I can respond.
That's lovely. And it's lovely to know that you have a group that actually will support other parents to embrace and accept. As much as we try to also educate and advocate for the entire society, to actually also just embrace and accept people who are different and parents who have children that have challenges. But as we wind up, what are the lessons that JJ has taught you?
JJ has taught me a lot.
Yeah.
One is to be patient.
Yeah.
All these things I do, like the therapies, everything that I do,
Yeah.
they don't bring results immediately. So you have to be patient enough so that you can see the results.
Yeah.
Second, JJ has told me that I'm his advocate.
Yeah.
It's only me who can talk on his behalf.
Yeah.
It's only me who can understand him and tell the world who he is and what he can do. Three, he has told me that many parents need people to support them
Yeah.
so that they can get to understand how to move along and also showcase that children with disability, as much as they are not being given opportunities like other regular people, they also have capacity.
Yeah.
And I know that one I will live to see.
Yeah.
That JJ is changing the world in his own way.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome lessons. Awesome lessons that we all need. Where can people reach you if they want to get to this group? Do you have the number?
The group, I can give out my number,
Yes.
which you can get me through.
Yes.
But I've not put the group on Facebook yet because the parents are not ready for it there.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of discussion with the parents. But I had not said that we meet on quarterly basis to learn and bringing the specialists to educate us on different issues of cerebral palsy and the challenges that we go through with our children. So we meet and discuss more. And we have not agreed on putting it on Facebook
Making
yet,
it public.
because we don't want to be brushed by people.
Okay.
And we want, when we are ready as a group, then we will do that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So I can be reached through my number, that is 0724 65 7989, and I will be there to support you as a parent.
Awesome. Awesome and good work.
Thank
good
you.
work that you're doing in advocacy, good work that you're doing as a mother, and also just supporting other people. Thank you very much, Deborah. Continue doing the good job. You have all heard it, that parents who have children that are differently abled go through a lot of challenges. But every life is important. All the children that we have or are in this world are the same and deserve love, protection, patience. You may not be having a child that has challenges, but you are in a society that these children exist. So let us change and embrace them. You're watching A Fresh Start with Jackie. If you're inspired by this story, don't forget to like the video, share it with somebody that may get help through this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and remember to also press on the link of notification so that you're notified every time that we post new videos. Thank you very much, and this is A Fresh Start with Jackie. See you next time. Welcome to the take home from today's episode of A Fresh Start with Jackie. Life can throw you curveballs, like we had today. As a mother, you go to the hospital. Of course, when you get pregnant, you have expectations. You have dreams and desires about your child. You know what they'll be like, and that is natural. But at times you go to the hospital and the story is not what you pictured. The story is different. And the take home from today is that to make your journey easy, acceptance and embracing of your child begins with you. I know as a society we need to accept and embrace you, but it's so difficult to start looking out at the society to do that for you. It starts at home. You may be in this same situation with a differently able baby. Kindly know that the acceptance that your child needs begins from you. And as a society as large, we are judged by how we treat our weakest in the society. So let's change and let's embrace people who seem different than us. That is how we make the society better for each and everyone. Thank you very much for watching this video. Remember to share with somebody else who might need to hear this. Like the video, comment down below what was your take home, and also don't forget to subscribe and press on the bell notification button so that you're notified every time that we post a new video. This is A Fresh Start with Jackie, and see you in the next video.